The only thing you can do on earth is master your mind. Because the life we are living, it's fake. It's a game. We are in a game. I'm going to talk of mental transmutation. You gotta transmute your mind from a negative to a positive. So now you gotta understand this, or you gotta know this. Mental transmutation, mind as well as metals and elements may be transmutated from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pull to pull, vibration to vibration. True emetic transmutation is a mental art, and it's found in the Caribbean. As we have started, the emetics were the original alchemists, astrologers, and psychologists, aims having been the founder of these schools of thought. From astrology has grown modern astronomy. From alchemy has grown modern chemistry. From the mystic, psychology has grown the modern psychology of the schools. But it must not be supposed that the ancients were ignorant of which that the modern schools supposed to be their own exclusive special property. The records engraved on the stones of ancient Egypt shows that the ancients had a full comprehensive knowledge of astronomy. The very building of the pyramid showing the connection between their design and the study of astronomical science. The ancient Egyptians were too intelligent, nor were they ignorant of chemistry, for the fragments of the ancient writings show that they were acquainted with chemical properties of things. In fact, the ancient theories regarding physics are being slowly verified by the latest discoveries of modern science, not by those relating to the constitution of matter. Nor must it be supposed that they were ignorant of the so-called modern discoveries of psychology. On the contrary, the Egyptians were especially skilled in science of psychology, particularly in the branches that the modern schools ignore, but which nevertheless are being uncovered under the name of physics science, which is perplexing the psychologists of today and making them admit that there may be something in it after all. Things change always. The truth is that beneath the material chemistry, astronomy, and psychology, that is the psychology in its phase of brain action, the ancients proposed a knowledge of transcendental astronomy called astrology, of transcendental chemistry called alchemy, of transcendental psychology called mystic psychology. They possess the inner knowledge well as the outer knowledge, the latter alone being proposed by the modern scientists. It's been proposed by the modern scientists. Among the many secret branches knowledge proposed by the emetics was that known as mental transmutation, which forms the subject matter of this lesson. Transmutation is a term usually employed to designate the ancient art of transmutation of metals, particularly of the base metals into gold. The word transmute means to change from one nature, form, or substance into another, to transform Webster, and accordingly, mental transmutation means the art of changing and transforming mental states, forms, and conditions into others. So, you may see the mental transmutation is the art of mental chemistry, if you like the term, a form of practical mystic psychology. But this means far more than it appears on the surface. Transmutation, alchemy, or chemistry on the mental plane is important enough in its effect, to be sure, and if the art stopped there, it would still be the one of the most important branches to study to man. But this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Let us see why the first of the seven principles is the principle of mentalism, which is the all is mind, the universe is mental, which means that the underlying reality of universe is mind, and the universe itself is mental. That is existing in the mind of the all. We shall consider this principle in succeeding lessons, but let us see the effect of the principle if it is assumed to be true. If the universe is mental in its nature, then mental transmutation must be the art of changing the condition of universe along the lines of matter, force, and mind. So you see, therefore, that mental transmutation is really the magic of which the ancient writers had to so much to say in their mystical works, and about which they gave so few practical instructions. If all be mental, then the art which enables one to transmute mental condition must render the master the controller of material conditions as well as those ordinary called mental. Hmm? As a matter of fact, none but advanced mental alchemists have been able to attain the degree of power necessary to control the grosser physical conditions, such as the control of the elements of nature, the, the production of ascension of atoms, the production of ascension of earthquakes, and other great physical phenomena. But that such men have existed and do exist today is a matter of earnest belief to all advanced occultists of all schools, that the masters exist, and we have masters. They exist and have these powers. The best teachers assure their students having had experience in which justify them in such a belief and statement of their own. Hmm? These masters don't make public exhibition on their power, but seek seclusion from the crowd of men in order to better work their way along the path of attainment. We mention the existence at this point merely to call your attention to the fact that their power is entirely mental and operates along the line of the higher mental transmutation under the hermetic principle of mentalism. The universe is mental, the all is mind. But students and domestics of lesser degree than masters, the initiates and teachers are able to freely work along the mental plane. In mental transmutation, in fact, all that we call physical phenomena, mental influence, mental science, new thought phenomena, etc., operate along the same general lines. For there is but one principle involved, no matter by what name the phenomena be called. The student and the practitioner of mental transmutation work among the mental plane, transmuting mental conditioning states, etc., into others according to various formulas, more or less infectious. The various treatment, affirmation, etc., of the schools of mental science are but formulas, often quite imperfect and unsophisticated of the hermetic art. So the majority of the modern practitioners are quite ignorant compared to the ancient masters, for they lack the fundamental knowledge upon which the work is based. Not only may the mental states of one's self be changed or transmuted by hermetic methods, but also the states of others may be and are constantly transmuted in the same way, usually unconsciously, but often consciously, consciously, by some understanding the laws and principles, in case where the people affected are not informed of the principles of self-protection. So these principles help us in many ways. They protect us, and more than this, as many students and practitioners of modern mental science know, every material condition depending upon the mind of others may be changed or transmitted in accordance with the earnest desire, will, and treatments of personal desire in changed condition of life. The public are so generally informed regarding these things at present that we do not deem it necessary to mention the same at length. Our purpose at this point being merely to show the hermetic principle and art underlying all these various forms and practice, good and evil, for the force can be used in opposite direction according to the hermetic principle of polarity. It can be that in this little book we shall state the basic principle of mental transmutation that all who read may grasp the underlying principle, and thus who possesses the master key that will unlock the many doors of the principle of polarity. We shall now proceed to the consideration of the first of the Hermetic seven principles, the principle of mentalism, in which is explained the truth that the all is mind, the universe is mental. In the words of the Caliban, we ask the course attention and careful study of this great principle on the part of our studies, for it is really the basic principle of all Hermetic philosophy and of the Hermetic art of mental transmutation. It's all about the mind. You gotta understand this, you gotta know this. It's all from the mind. Every action you are making is counting. Every action you are making is being manifested. You are creating your life every minute of it. The all is mind. Everything emanates from the mind. You are the one who's creating your life. So you gotta be conscious of the things you do in your daily routines. You gotta master yourself. You gotta know thyself. The answers we seek, they are within. Go within. Look for the truth. The truth is always on plain sight. That's all I wanted to talk about. Thanks for watching. Nature be with you.